This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Yo, what's up, K-Gun fam? This is Swank. Just wanted to let you know tonight, Season 3, Episode 10 of the K-Gun Report, we're talking OTAs, we're talking state of the defense, and we're talking with our main man, friend of the show, Mr. Mark Maddox. We're going to hit this intro and go.
This is a dangerous groups that we're.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. Season 3, Episode 10. Of course, as always, we got the diabolical twins, the identical, insane, in the membrane boys, Scott and Jarrod Reed. Say hi, boys.
Insane in the brain. What's up, Mafia?
Insane in the membrane. Hey, Fandemonium.
And of course, if you didn't read the text and the comment, and you don't have eyes to see this man below, one of our favorites, Mr. Mark Maddox, is joining us tonight. What's up, Mark?
Not much, guys. Thanks for having me. Always appreciate it and love talking to you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We love it, Mark. Thank you.
We got a bunch of Fandemonium regulars in here. Mr. Rob Mullen. We got Marie Momford. Paul Rossi saying, let's go Buffalo. Debbie Emerton.
Hi, Debbie.
Yeah, that's one of Mark's friends. I think she's the one that hooked us up with you to begin with.
Yeah. And I just did a scavenger hunt online as a fundraiser. And the top prize was a Dawson Knox jersey. Debbie won it.
Wow,
oh, perfect.
That's awesome. I'm hearing, it's a perfect segue. I heard Dawson's banged up a little bit here in OTAs, man. He didn't practice today, but we'll get into that in a little bit. We got Mr. Patrick Hughes, Mike Voigt, John Johns, all the favorites, all the regulars. If you guys got any questions for Mark or anything about OTAs, pressers, any of that stuff, let us know. Mark, what are you thinking about this offseason so far here for these Buffalo Bills?
You know, I was really sad to see, the big three guys go on the defense, to see Hughes go, see Latui go, and Phillips go. Yeah. A lot of people I don't think a lot of people truly appreciate Star Latui because he was hurt a lot and he sat out, so I think they didn't really appreciate him or respect him for that. But when it came down to playing that technique, he was stout at that position, and that to me was one of the biggest things, losing those three guys. I know they picked up a couple guys, DeQuan Jones and Tim Settle, they both have experience. So, they can come in and play, and you just hope that, they can fill that role. And that's one of those things that you just don't know, because you had these guys here, they know the system, they know what you're doing. So you go that route, you want to stay that route, but understand free agent, the money, these guys got to go where they're going to get paid, because it's not guaranteed that they're going to keep that money, keep that contract with them, whatever team they're with. So you have to go where it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they both went to the Houston Texans, so they'll be teammates once again at the bookends.
Yeah. So it'd be that, to me, was probably the biggest disappointment, losing, all three of those guys. Maybe if we lost one of the three, or, I think one of the three, we really needed to keep, I felt, Harry or Starr. I think that would have been, one of those guys with Hughes would have been huge, but it just didn't happen to work out that way. And like I said, we got some quality guys that came in, just hope they can fit into the system, and because wasn't Shaq Lawson here before? And I don't know what happened when he left. I don't even remember, but it's one of those things that you hope that he can fill that void that Jerry had. And I'm happy, because especially picking up Von Miller, we just upgraded our defense right there. And you get two guys coming from the outside. And I think Russo's going to do a great job this year too, and I think that's one of the reasons that they were able to say, we can let Jerry go, and so they think about that youth and, giving him a little experience, because he came on at the end of the year last year, where he played well when he was in there. And so now with that under his belt, you just hope that he can really shine this year.
Yeah, that year two jump, man. That's what I'm looking for. I've been waiting for that year two jump from AJ Epinesa for about 2 years too. But other than that, I think it's scary. I think it's one of those things where, like, if he's a home run like Josh Allen was, right? They kept drafting these projects and turning them into prodigies. And I'm hoping Groot can be one of those guys.
Yeah, he's a good, solid backup, and he can start. You've seen some of the games that he was in. He's making plays. He's making things happen. It's just a matter of, we don't see all the plays and grading and stuff like that in the film sessions, so we don't know what the hang up is, from an outsider. But like I said, when he's in there, he is doing some good things. But with the coaches, how much good compared to how much negative? Where does it weigh out? And that's a big thing that we don't really see as fans, because we see those big plays and we're like all excited with them. But when you're taking on a pulling guard with your inside shoulder instead of your outside shoulder, those are the little things that the coaches are seeing and saying that you just hurt us here. We just gave up 10 yards, or we gave up 5 yards because you went inside shoulder instead of outside shoulder, because you're supposed to bounce it back in to the linebacker. Instead, it went outside, and we didn't have any containment out there. So it's those little things that are so critical that we don't see. And, that hopefully, like you said, when is that prodigy going to be able to do all those things that they're supposed to do?
Yeah, and there's got to be a time crunch on something like that, right? I mean, the Bills' time is now. I mean, they got, I think, a pretty big window. But, like, if you're going to produce, you got to produce, right? Like,
right.
Yeah.
In the NFL, your time is the time period is now, because they're not looking, if they pick you up in the first round, you got some years to develop, because they put an investment. They have an investment in you. But when you come in, forgot when he was drafted. But when you come in, when he was a second round pick, when you come in as a second round pick, they're giving you some money, but you're not going to be around. You got maybe 3 years, and that's what your contract's going to be, usually 3-4 years if you're lucky. And if you're not producing by the end of it, you're getting signed somewhere else, most likely. Yeah. We had that issue when I first came into the league. They drafted a guy by the name of James Patton out of Texas, a defensive lineman. And he was hurt, you know, and I laugh and I tell people, I'm like, he made more money in 1 year than I made in 3 years, and he never played. You know, and that was it's a shame, but it happens like that. I started, and this guy still made more money in 1 year than I made in 3 years. And so when you're like that, they give you a little time to develop, but if it doesn't pan out at the end of that contract, you're most likely not going to be there.
Yeah, and with Russo and with them getting rid of Addison and Hughes, they're kind of telling him that now's the time for you to produce.
Yeah.
Russo only had 50% of the snaps, and you're right, Mark. As fans, you're only getting what you see on film and maybe what you've seen in college. I give Russo the benefit of the doubt because he did sit out 2020 related to COVID, so you didn't play for a whole year, and then now he's got to come into the NFL and learn the NFL ways. Missing a whole year in college, that's a big step, and I think. I've seen pictures. It looks like he's bulked up. It looks like he's gotten almost twice as big. So if he could watch his own film and understand the mistakes he made, that's the best thing a player can do is go back and watch yourself sometimes. And maybe I'm hoping, I have big hopes for him. And then the same thing with Carlos Basham. He only got 20% of the snaps last year. But again, because Epinesa and Hughes are gone, they're expecting him and Epinesa and Basham, all those guys, to take over a lot more snaps than they did the previous.
Right. And a good rotation. When you have guys that you can rotate in and they're successful, then yeah, that is totally what you truly want. And as far as bulking up, most of the guys, when, you know, college routine, back when I was playing, your college lifting programs were nowhere near your pro lifting programs. So, you know, and that's another thing is that in the pros, you have access to the gym every day. Okay. You have something that you're doing every day. And in the off season, when you, after your first year, what happens in your first year, you get picked up. Okay. You go to training camp, you do some testing, you get a weightlifting program, you go back home, you start working out, doing it there. Then when you come back for that rookie mini camp, you know, they get everybody, they teach you how to lift. And then once you're back for training camp, it's like full go. Okay. You're not really doing too much lifting because you're doing so much running and so much game plan or implementation of the defense, implementation of the offense that, you know, you still work out, but it's nothing like off-season workout. And you get through with that first season and you get to that off-season workout, you're at that facility every day. You're working out, you're conditioning, you're doing things that are football specific, and your body just starts to really develop. That's when you put on more weight. Because when I came in, I hope I was probably like 210 soaking wet, you know, and I ended up going up to 230, you know, and it's one of those things because you learn how to lift, you get to eat right, you get to do the things that you're supposed to do to build and transform your body.
And you don't have to worry about passing class either.
Exactly. You're not running, you're not going from here to there and then trying to get some of this stuff done.
Right.
So
it's your job now, so you can focus.
You know what? It really is. And a lot of people don't understand that as a football player, I would go over, most guys do, depending on what time your morning meeting started and how your practice schedule is, you know, because Arizona was a little bit different than Buffalo. We could practice later in Buffalo because of the weather as compared to here in Arizona. But usually we're over at the stadium for meetings, 7:30, 8 o'clock, just like a regular job. Okay. So you're over there at 7:30 and you're going through your day and, you know, you go through film sessions, you go through this, you have lunch, you have lunch, you have a practice, you have workout, you have more meetings, and then you can go home, you know, because after practice, you watch practice, you go back in, do whatever is done between the time of them cutting the film up, and then you get the film and you go over practice of what you ran in practice. So if the defense was running blitzes, be like, oh, look, here's where you messed up on this blitz. This is where you should have went and you didn't go. And this is where this person should have went and they didn't go. So it's like you're always learning. You're always doing something football related. And it's great because you get more knowledge, but like I said, it's a full-time job. You're over there in the morning and you're leaving afternoon. And people were like, oh, we get a short day because Friday's usually a short day because you're just doing, specials, walkthrough and stuff like that. You're not really going hard at the end of the week. And so you just go over more of a recap. So it's a little bit shorter of a day. But even on Tuesdays, your day off, most guys are going in for treatment or going in for extra study session or something to meet with a coach or doing something public related. But it's a full-time job. You're over in the morning at 8 o'clock. You go home at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
You mean to tell me, Mark, that it's not just 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoons?
Nowhere near that.
Mind blown.
Yeah. But wait, and here's the other thing too. And I know there's players out there like this because I know I'm not the only one. But when you are a person that has to make calls, make adjustments, make things like that, when you go home, you're still watching film. Mm-hmm. You look at some of these guys, they actually have projectors and systems at their home so that they can still review stuff when they're home. So it's like you're always doing something, football related. It's not just, we're going to play on Sunday. Like I heard a story in it, and if it's true, it really pisses me off. That because he has all the ability and talent in the world, but Gronkowski, they say he doesn't watch film. He doesn't do a lot. Brady was saying something about him, he just knows, he just shows up and runs the plays and stuff like that. That would really, if as a player, if I was playing and I heard that, I guarantee you I would try to hurt him. And I mean hurt him. Oh yeah. Not illegally, but I would try anything and everything to blast him every chance I got and say, next time you might want to watch film to see where that guy's coming from. Yeah.
It's an insult to the defender. I don't need to study this defense. I don't need to study this linebacker, this nickel that's covering me. I got it. Hey, that's an insult.
Yeah.
Big time. Oh yeah, that burns me.
Mark, I have a quick question. We mentioned Russo and Basham and all these young guys at the edge and interior defensive line. First statement is they must have been licking them chops when Von Miller was signed and all these veterans were signed. Not only Von Miller, but the other ones coming in too. But my question for you is going to be, Von Miller is opening up with the Rams. Now I know you played for the Bills and you went to Arizona, and I think you played Arizona.
Yeah.
You played against the Bills. I think you had like 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. You had a pretty good game. What was it like to play the Buffalo Bills after you spent so many years with them and then playing against them?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. Okay. So when I left Buffalo and I came to Arizona, I hated football. I hated football because of Wade Phillips and the way he treated me. I went from starting 14 games as a starter to not dressing. And no warning, no anything. Practice as a starter all week. Get to Miami and I'm inactive. And I'm like, how did I start as a number 1 all week in practice? I'm not hurt and I'm not starting. Well, so thanks to Wade Phillips. So that was the end of the 96 season. 97, they cut my contract, brought me back, but cut me in preseason. And so I sat out because I didn't get picked up. Marv told me he cut me early because he was hoping I would get picked up with someone. Chris Spielman gets hurt and they call me back and I'm like, okay, it was like mid-season. So it was like game 7 or game 8 because we still had there was still a half a season left. And the first day of practice, Damian Covington is who they replaced me with. And the first day of practice, that Wednesday, we're doing 101 drills. And whoever Damian was covering made a cut. Damian goes down. That's when he severed that nerve in his leg that caused him to have drop foot. Oh, wow. And my face just lights up. Okay. And my face lights up because it's like, I'm going to play. You have no other experience besides myself as a starter in knowing the defense. Okay. No, he put John Holochek in. And so I was like, okay, so they still gave me the runaround, and it really, really ticked me off. I was one of those paycheck players. I went over there to collect my paycheck because of the way they treated me. But they put me in short yardage, goal line, red zone situations. And I'm like, if I can't play, why are you putting me in at critical situations? Right. Why am I in the game when it's critical? Don't put me in a game when it's critical if I can't play. And so I truly, truly hated football at that point. And so at the end of the season, Ted Cottrell was our linebackers coach. He had called me into his office, and he had read me his report. And it did. It made me feel good. His report made me feel good as far as like saying we want Mark back or we need Mark back. You know, he was very critical in, you know, short yardage goal line situations. Red zone, he went in, he helped us, he contributed, and he's an asset to this team. And it did. It made me feel good. But I still didn't like the fact of what had happened. And so when I came to Arizona, went through the preseason, got my appreciation back and love for the game, and ended up we didn't play them in 98, but we played them in 99. And it was like the third game from the end of the year. And whoever we played the week before, I had like a grade 2 MCL sprain in that game. And they basically said, you're not playing. And I said, basically, BS. I will be playing in that game. And the rule is you have to run on Friday in order to play in a game. I got my MRI on Monday, and it said that I had a grade 2 sprain and that I was pretty much done. They might as well just get me, a brace or whatever and stuff like that. I seen this one lady and her husband. She stretched me. She was a stretchology or whatever she was. But I seen her for the 3 years that I was here, and that's how I was able to keep my speed because I was so flexible. And you know, when I mean flexible, she put me on a table, strap a leg down, and put the other leg up beside my head is what she would do. And her husband was a PT guy. And so I seen her after my MRI, and they were like, when I went back to the facility on Tuesday, couldn't walk. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to play. And I told my coach, his name was Glenn Pyers. I'm like, coach, I just need a brace. I said, I will play in this game. And he was like, okay, I'll tell him. And so they did. They ordered me a brace and everything like that. But I seen them on Tuesday. I probably seen the husband twice that day, and I seen her twice that day. Wednesday, I went over early before practice, seen both of them. Still couldn't walk on Wednesday. Okay, barely walk on Wednesday. Went and seen them Wednesday afternoon. After that, I ended up going back Thursday morning, go to practice, walking, but a little better, but not that great, but walking. And the brace came, I think, Thursday. That night, still see those two, Ann and Chris. After I get done with them, go over Friday. Friday, you got to run full speed. If you don't run full speed on Friday, you're not playing. Plain and simple. I went over there on Friday with that brace, and they wondered what happened to me because they didn't know, because I was practicing, ran full speed, did everything. And so it was one of those things that I was going to play in that game no matter what.
Hell or high water.
Yeah.
Did you have a bite guard on the whole time?
No. But the even funnier part of it is Bruce DeHaven was a special teams coach. And, you know, because I played here, I played more. I did the same thing. I did short yardage, goal line situations, red zone, where I would go in and special teams, because they had a kid in front of me, Ronnie McKinnon. And I'm not one to talk about the person in front of me. You know, it's like, well, I know I should be playing in front of him and stuff like that. He was good. He was a good linebacker. And I was okay backing him up. I wasn't okay backing John Holochek up. I just wasn't. Okay. I'm just saying. And so
I love that.
So
Yeah, I said
I did. And I just wasn't, because if that was the case, then how come he didn't start before me before? Plain and simple.
Right.
You know? And so so I ended up backing him up and, you know, playing special teams. Love playing special teams. One of the oldest guys on the team, one of the first ones to the 30, because we would measure, we clock guys between the 30 and 30. Michael Pittman was a running back. So we always want to see who was the first guy to the 30. It was either Michael Pittman or it was myself, because of me being so flexible and stuff like that. But Bruce DeHaven and had told Marlo Perry, because I went over to the hotel to see Marlo and Sam Rogers, you know, my other linebackers and stuff like that. I went to see them, and I walk up and Marlo looks at me and goes, "You're playing tomorrow, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, Bruce DeHaven said it. He goes, Bruce DeHaven told them, he goes, "Listen, I'm going to tell you guys right now, he will play in this game. I don't care what the injury report says. I don't care if it says he has a broken leg. He is going to play in this game." And Marlo had told me that. I was like, yeah, he's a pretty smart guy, because he knew me.
Yeah,
He knew, you know a guy's heart, and you know, and stuff like that. And he knows that I was treated wrong, you know. So yeah, so I was happy about that, but that was funny.
One of my favorite videos is watching you on special teams. You just seem to get down there and put your helmet on people, and there's a lot of hits that you used to be able to do back then that you can't do now. But man, you made people change their mind about coming your direction on special teams. That's for sure.
Yeah, I tell people that, listen, if I would have been a special teams player, you wouldn't be talking about Steve Tassett.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, you had some attitude there, Mark.
Yeah.
I went to go look up some highlights the other day, and the first video that popped up was actually a little scuffle with, I think, an offensive lineman that got brought in camp. I was like, there you go, Mark, get up.
Well, see, but here's the thing, and this is what people don't, they see that fight, but they don't, the backstory for that fight is I just came off my knee surgery. So I tore my ACL. And so we're in practice, and he tried to cut me.
Ooh.
And so when he tried to cut me, you know, "You're going after my knee." No, that ain't happening. And I forgot who it was, and I did. I took that helmet off and threw it at him. I told him I'd kill him. And, you know, I got in a fight. I don't know if it was Jerry Crafts or Corbin Lincini. I think it might have been Jerry Crafts. I love Jerry Crafts. And, but whoever it was, he was like 350, 60 pounds. I got him on the ground. I'm behind him. And they had to pull me off of him, because I literally took that helmet, had it twisted around. It's in the Shout magazine. Someone sent the picture. I have that picture somewhere. And I had that helmet twisted around. This is in camp. And I told him, I'm like, "I'll kill you." And I'm literally trying to snap his neck, because his face mask is coming towards me, but his head isn't turning anymore.
Bing, 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 bing.
Wow. I'm looking at the picture right now. It was Steve Hoyam.
That's it. That's right.
Yeah, Steve. Hi, Steve Hoyam.
Yeah.
Steve Hoyam's watching the show like this.
Yeah, over his shoulder.
There's Mark. That's
I mean, but it was my knee, and that was like that.
Hey,
that's your
that just set
livelihood,
the fire.
man.
That just lit that fuse.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well,
so
the previous year you just had one of your best careers, and then the next year that's when you injured your ACL. So this is the year that you came back.
Yeah. And so, you know, and it was sad. And it's like one of those things. It's like, I look at film, and when I look at film, it's good to see. And I'm like, I told someone, I'm like, I was actually pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have got hurt, because I really would have liked to see what I could have done, you know, with more experience and more time, you know, and because you learn, the game kind of comes to you more as you get older, and the things that, you know, you see, you know, and the familiarity with the teams, and just knowing, you know, like that, like Chris Spielman watched film just like me, where he studied film, and he'd go home, he studied, he'd come back in early and study, and break, he'll study. And it was actually good to see that there are other people like that value that craft and, you know, learn the game. That's why I said Rob Gronkowski kind of, you know, that just baffled me when I heard that. And it's like, oh yeah, he doesn't have to. I'm like, you know, you come to the meeting and you're sleeping in the meeting, you're probably going to get beat up by half the team, but.
Well, it's got to drive coaches nuts to hear that, right? And then if I'm a coach, I'm watching every single thing he does in practice and in the game. And if he messes up once, I'm all over him. I mean, he's got to have like a little bit of a grace like period or a little leeway because he's Gronk or whatever. But I just think like Josh Allen, right? Like he wouldn't be doing that. No. Like there's no way he would do that. He's going to tell people he doesn't, I don't practice or I don't watch film or I'm just naturally gifted. I know everything. Like get out of here.
Yeah. But like I said, when you're one of those signal callers or you're the person that has to make adjustments and do things like that, it's so critical that you study, that you watch film, that you know what's going to happen. Almost like you want to know what's going to happen before it happens. It's like I watch film now, or I don't watch film, but when I watch the game, and see enough games, I know when a coach is going to do something. I know when our coach is going to do something. Like DeBoll, don't get me wrong. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a great coach. Okay. Because I'm watching games and I'm at home and I can figure out what we're going to do, when we're going to do it and how we're going to do it, based off of formation, based off of down and distance and stuff like that. And that kind of just, like I said, that kind of stuff just kind of like baffles me because like I said, if I can figure out at home, even though I played the game, these guys are watching film. These guys are studying you all week, and don't let it be a division opponent because they've seen you before and they know, and, oh, they don't do this, they don't do this, they don't do that. And it's like, no, not having it.
We talk about that all the time where it's like, man, if we knew you were going to do that, what about everybody else texting each other during the game?
Yep.
We got our buddy Rob Mullen here, Mark, and he wanted to ask you what was one of your most memorable training camp moments as a Bill?
Memorable training camp moments?
Yeah.
Well, actually, my most memorable training camp has to do with not even football. It has to do with my first true fan. And
Jarrod?
Yep. What happened was my very first year, we're in camp and I was, I would sign for people and stuff like that, even though I'm like, they don't have a clue who I am, but they want everybody's signature. I'm like, okay, let me give it to them. Someone might get lucky and get my autograph. And this girl came up to me and she had asked me to sign. It was before lunch. And so I signed because it was after our morning practice. I signed, went back, had lunch, took my nap and all of that stuff. Then when we went back to practice for the second practice, here she comes running up again. Will you sign? Will you sign? I'm like, listen, I already signed it for you. I don't need to sign it again. She goes, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And all this. And I'm like, okay, here, let me see your book. She gives me her book. I open it up and I say, look, right here. I told you I signed it. And she goes, oh, okay. And so she ended up leaving, but she wrote me my first fan letter. So when she wrote me my first fan letter, I wrote her back and I told her that if I make the team, I wanted to get her and her family tickets to the home opener. And so I was on the injured reserve, but I made the team, but I was on the injured reserve. So I met her and her parents for breakfast and we've been in contact ever since. She came out to visit me last year. And like when I was out here, I went back to her wedding when she got married, know her family, know her kids. And so, my most memorable moments weren't football related. They were more fan related.
Wow.
Because like I still am in contact with a lot of the people that that I interacted with during that time. And so, but yeah, we've been in contact even before Facebook, and stuff like that. But just even meeting or contacting some of the people via Facebook that I knew as kids and stuff like that. That's the most memorable part, was the fan interaction, because like I said, the fans are unbelievable.
That's awesome.
For those of you that don't know Mark and his Facebook page, Mark, you're always got your arm around someone. There's a lot of people out there that love you, and it's evident just on Facebook. And so, I love hearing that story because you touch people's lives right now as it is. And just to know that you started doing that before you were even on the starting roster is awesome to hear. I love hearing your stories, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. But
Great
yeah,
stuff.
so that would be my answer, would be the fan interaction.
There you go.
Making a team was great too, but the fan interaction was the best part.
Oh yeah, then I made this NFL team, whatever.
And then I made the team, and but
fought some guy, almost ripped his neck off. It was great.
yeah.
W says she's giving you like a to-do list here, Mark.
Oh my God.
Don't forget to mention Mafia news events.
Mafia Nation.
Oh, Nation. I'm sorry.
Yeah, get it right, buddy.
Oh man.
Well, no, we just did like she's right. We do a lot of things with Bill's Mafia Nation, my Facebook group page. This year we're gonna do 2,000 books to Title I schools. So far, I've delivered 1,400 books. Have been out. Debbie did books in Canada. So we sent books to Canada. We sent books to New York. Here, did we go anywhere else? I'm trying to think. Oh, Texas also, to classes in Texas. So we have sent books out. Last year we did the homeless. We fed 110 low-income homeless people back in Buffalo when I came back for a game. We did Christmas for like almost 75 kids between Florida and Georgia, South Carolina, New York, Arizona, and I think there might have been one more state. So we're doing stuff all over, and I did 100 backpacks to schools last year that we do. So we're always doing events for, to help other people out. And even if it's just a little, we do it. Like, I really wanted to do something with the shootings in Buffalo, but everybody's doing something. Yeah. And you don't need more hands in the pot than that need to be in the pot, because someone asked me to do something where it was like, where we could raise funds for one of the little girls who hid in the freezer. And I'm like, I'm not too comfortable with raising funds because there's so many people that are trying to raise funds and you don't know if these funds are actually going where they're supposed to go. I said, I would be more comfortable finding out about these people and creating wish lists for them and then getting those products sent directly to them through the nonprofit or sent to you to send to them. Yeah. And I think that's something that's more reasonable. Just because, like I said, everybody, you don't know how many crooked people are out there. Do I want to sell shirts? I have t-shirts, these Mafia Nation t-shirts. Can I sell them and say I'm going to send half the proceeds there? Why am I going to try to make something off of their sorrow, off of something that's not necessary? If I was going to do it, then all the proceeds would go to them. Right. You know what I mean? Because I've seen some stuff where it's like, half the proceeds will go here and stuff like that. You're trying to capitalize on an event that people are suffering from. Right. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. So we do a bunch of different things. Like I said, we just had that scavenger hunt, and you guys aren't in Mafia Nation events because I have an events page where, I can get everybody in one central location and they can, see the post of what they're supposed to find for the scavenger hunt and stuff like that. Oh my God. I made it 8 things. It's kind of simple. They take a selfie or a picture on a swing, on a park bench, on a slide, in front of a historical spot. So in front of a police car or paramedic or fire truck. What else did we have? There was 8 things. But anyway, they got bonus points. Oh, they got bonus.
I just joined.
Okay. They got bonus points if they videoed themselves going down the slide. Okay. Mm-hmm. They got bonus points if they got to sit in the back of a police car or the paramedics or the fire truck. Okay. And they got bonus points if they actually took the picture at the historical site. Okay. So the way I set it up is I want you to get out. I want you to do something that maybe you haven't done. Have a little fun, interact with the people in our community who service our community, okay, and learn a little bit about something. that's where the history comes in. So, so we get all of that. And you see some of these people go down the slide. Oh my God. It's hilarious because, well, Debbie, she lost her phone, went flying and everything like that and fell. Yeah. So, and she was like, and so all I see is her getting ready to go down and you just see nothing else except for the sky and the rocks. Okay. And so, but one girl can go down. She goes, oh my God, I can't go. My shorts are too short. And so she couldn't go because her legs kept sticking on the thing. One lady goes down, and as she's going around the swivel, it sounds like you can hear the shock, like she got shocked, but you hear, ah! And I'm like, oh my God, she just got shocked. But I guess she got burned, like a friction burn from her arm catching, but you can hear it on the video. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Like the worst noise in the world.
One lady's going down the slide going, hut, 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 hut. Go Bills, But I mean, it's hilarious. But here's the key thing. And I mean, this is the best way I can explain it. Because when the one lady, her name is Samantha, she didn't think I was going to look at the video. I told her, listen, I looked at every picture that was posted in every video that was posted. And you know what I seen? I seen adults with the biggest smiles on their face.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. It just, to me, it was so positive just seeing that and being a part of that and helping create that you're seeing people who are in their 20s, people in their 60s going down the slide, and smiling. And one lady said it was like being a kid again.
Yeah, they probably hadn't done that in 40, 50 years.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, and to me, that made me feel so good because we barely broke even because I had 25 prizes and we only had a little over 50 some people, but I'm going to do it, and we're going to do it big. And someone had asked me about, well, hopefully it was profitable. I'm like, it broke even, I said, but just to see those smiles, just to see their faces, oh my God, unbelievable. I would not change anything different than what we did. If we had more people, okay, good. I would because we did have some people who weren't able to do their videos, but if all of them could have did their videos, I would have been more than ecstatic, just as I am now with what we did have, because it was just to see the pure happiness on adults' faces was amazing. You had brothers, you had families doing it together, you had sisters doing it together, or siblings, and just that to me was just unbelievable. Kids, dog losing it on the slide at the bottom, it was hilarious. I'm telling you. Yeah, I'll add you in if it didn't accept you already, but I'll add you in and look at the videos. Just go through the pictures and find any of the videos on the slide, and I guarantee you're going to be like, oh my God, it's hilarious. But you're going to look at their faces and you're just going to see it's a pure smile. It's not fake. It's not, anything. It's a real smile. So,
I'd probably go right to Debbie's because she's an avid follower on our page.
Yes.
we lose that as adults. We lose that somewhere on the road to life, and to be able to touch it again, get in touch with our child. That's just something else, and I can't wait to go watch it if you accept me in.
Okay. Well, everybody can come in now, so I'll let people in so they can see. But yeah, it's absolutely hysterical. I mean, to me, and that's what it's about. So, so I'm doing different things. We're going to start, I'm starting up trivia again for the babes to raise funds to start the backpacks, because back to school is going to be in a couple months. And, I got a bunch of different prizes and stuff like that. If I don't get enough babes that are interested in it, I'll go to my Mafia Nation page and invite people, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing bingo on Tuesday evening, and bingo on Tuesday evening, trivia on Thursday evening, and possibly a bingo on Saturday. One event of bingo on Saturday, or two if the need is there, or if the numbers are there for people. And because I put out a little survey, we're going to end up doing 20 people at $15, and we're going to give out 7 prizes, a signed jersey for someone, a signed jersey, t-shirt. I got blankets. I ordered a bunch of stuff between Amazon, off of Amazon and stuff like that, bill stuff, signs. I ordered like almost over $1,000 worth of stuff.
Wow.
And you get this little box and you're like, that's $1,000. When you look at it, like, really? And, and I ended up buying 20, I think like 21, 22 jerseys and of autographed jerseys of players like Moles, Reed, Evans, Johnson, McGahee, Jackson, so I got all these jerseys. So we're going to give out 7 prizes for those events. For the trivia, it's just for fun. So what I'll do is I'll randomize the 7 people who win, so you don't have to be smart to play trivia. You just have to show up, we'll randomize the people who are there. And whoever has the top amount of points, we will give them a prize, but it's not going to be a jersey or anything like that. We'll just, be something cute or something like that just to make you smile. And so we're going to start doing that for the backpacks. And I still want to come up in the fall again, the homeless blessing bags that we did 2 years ago. But last year, like I said, we did the meals. So we'll do the blessing bags again, and then Christmas we'll do the Christmas party again for the kids. So we'll be doing different things to raise funds. I know out here, I know they have a lot of meat raffles back there, but we got a lot of Buffalo people out here in Arizona that when I did my meat raffle out here, they actually loved it. We did bowling and a meat raffle. So I don't think I'm going to do the bowling part again just because of COVID and the bowling alleys are charging so much money now to bowl and stuff like that. Yeah. And because they went corporate, it was Brunswick went to Bolero, and Bolero they're money hungry, and it's so bad that now even when I bowl league, if you order something, they're automatically adding an 18% gratuity for just one person. I'm like, don't tell me what I got to tip.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I said, and I said, you know what? I said, you can tell me, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to get less because of this.
Yeah.
Because you're asking me, you're making me do this. I usually tip the waitresses or the waiter, way more than what they had, give me, or than their 18%, they're getting 25% usually. Mm-hmm. If I got like a $22 tab, or I'm giving them $30 and saying, keep the change, Mm-hmm. And no, not anymore. As soon as they did it and I ordered something, they put the 18% on it. I'm like, there you go. You're not giving me anything else. Yep. Yeah. And the one girl who worked there, she's been working there since the place opened. She quit because she said people stopped tipping her.
Yeah. Right.
She made more tips without that. I'm sorry someone else didn't make tips because they suck. You're good. You make tips.
Yeah. The way it works.
That's it. Yeah. So we had some OTAs happening today, some pressers. The biggest story I think that came out of all of it was that Jordan Poyer was not at OTAs. They're voluntary. My buddy Scott here let me know that Micah Hyde also wasn't there, but nobody was talking about that, right? So
because of the contract.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is this a serious thing? Is it not a serious thing? Do we have to worry about Jordan Poyer? What do you guys think?
I mean, what he's trying to do is he's trying to get an extension on his contract.
Yeah.
He's under contract for a year, so he's going to show up at some point in time. All right. The OTAs right now is just to get an eye on the person to see where they're at physically, where they're at mentally, how are they looking and stuff like that. That's the main reason that you get all the guys back ahead of time, to evaluate where they're at and like if you need to do anything. And it is like I said, I mean, it's the contract. He's one of the best safeties in the league. Mm-hmm. Him and Hyde, if you keep those two together, you're going to be successful. With what they can do, the range, what they can cover, what they can't, they compensate, they play well off of each other. Okay. They're probably two of the best tackling safeties in the league too,
Sure.
So they can not only cover, but they can tackle. They're not coming up to elbow you or anything like that or try to take your ankles out. They're coming out trying to face you up, no matter who you are.
100%.
So that, I mean, though it's, to me, I mean, when training camp comes, that's when I'd be worried if he's not there. If he's not at training camp, then I'd be worried because they have to get something done. I wouldn't be worried about his physical shape or anything like that or him losing anything because of, the smarts that they have and not too much is going to change for them. But that's when I get worried if he's not in training camp.
And that's what I told these guys. I was like, it's all voluntary. When it starts to be in the mandatory stuff and people aren't showing up, that's when you need to start worrying a little bit.
But we have to have something to talk about, right? That's what the thing is. Right, it's like someone sees this, they're going to jump all over it and post it everywhere. Why isn't this happening? It's like, take a deep breath. I know we want everybody to be there at every single moment that they can possibly be there, but they're professional athletes. They've done this before. It's not new to them. Training camp, when it comes down to that, if they're not showing up, that's when you have to worry. But for right now, let's just let the young guys learn, let the vets do what they have to do to get things going before the season starts, and just let it be.
And that's what it is trying to get the guys in just to get acclimated with everyone. And like I said, it's more of a evaluation of where they're at. And, and that's why they do the workouts. They see where they're at physically, mentally. They watch them on the field, in the classroom and things like that. And, it's really to help the young guys primarily. And so it's nice to get the veterans there. Like my first year, Biscuit wasn't in camp. He showed up late, but it would have been nice to have him in camp because you get that rapport of how to interact with them. But I wasn't starting. I wasn't a first round draft pick. It would have been to me, if you're a first round draft pick and you're coming in and you got a guy who's starting that's holding out, it does make it a little bit harder for you to know what they do or how they do it because they're not there.
Right.
And, so for Carlton Bailey and Shane Conlon, it wasn't that bad because they played with him. They had that experience. They did, you know what I mean? So they're like, it's okay. We know what he does. We know how he does it, But if it would have been me, a first round pick, and I'm coming in projected to start, it's one of those things, like, I don't know what this dude does. I know he's good, but I don't know how to play off of him. I don't know what little things he likes to do and doesn't like to do, so.
What makes him so good, right?
Yeah. And the thing with like Player Hyde not showing up, DeMar Hamlin, Jacon Johnson, and Josh Thomas have all been there for the last year. So you're right. I mean, it's not like they need to go there and learn from them. They've already been with them last year. So
I was just going to say that, bro.
Yep.
It's like you guys are twins or something.
Yeah. That's what I was going to bark out too. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. I think like the whole thing is that like Buffalo is a community, especially right now. But like over the last 30 years, they want to feel like everybody wants to be there all the time. We got this really good thing going on. Everybody loves them. There's not one like unlikable player on this whole roster. So like I think it's more of like a, come on, man, please, please just be there, be happy. But we got Rob. Go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead. No, what I was going to say, but what people have to realize is that it's a business for those guys. They still got to make what they got to make. They got to take advantage of the opportunity to make as much, to maximize their income while they can.
Yes.
Because that team can cut you at any moment, and without a fully guaranteed contract, you could be SOL.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And he's earned it. Like,
yes,
facts are facts. He's earned it.
Absolutely.
So, Rob Mullen has another question for you here. You wanted to know which current Buffalo Bill reminds you of one of your former Bills teammates and why?
Mm.
It's a deep one.
That is a deep one. I mean, I guess I would have to go with Josh. I have to go with Josh. He reminds me of Kelly, just
nice.
cocky,
Perfect.
cocky and, and full of fire and confident, one of those things, like, give me the ball, you know, and like, it's like, and I hate to use this person as an example because I dislike him so much.
Say it.
Tom Brady.
Yes.
You know,
I said it.
Yeah, I said it. Tom Brady is one of those things. Like, think about this here. With the game on the line, I don't care. He can't run. I don't care. If you leave that man with a minute and they can win the game, you're most likely going to lose that game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
The odds are going to be probably at least 85% or higher, or 85, 90%. You're going to lose that game, you know, and he just gets it done. But that's how Jim was when the game came down to the line and we knew we were getting the ball and the ball was going to be in Jim's hand. You know, Jim's got Thurman, he's got Andre, he's got James Lofton when he was there, Billy Brooks, Eric Mold, you know, he's got all this talent around him that we were just like, okay, we're still in this game. This game is not over. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with Josh. And the thing is, you see that confidence in Josh now. You know, you see the confidence. It's like, okay, look at that Kansas City game last year. You know, we come back. Yeah, we left 13 seconds on the clock, and the defense didn't play the right defense, in my opinion, of what we should have played. You know, but I had no doubt that we were going to go down and score just because of him and the way he reacts. Same thing with Jim. So that would be my closest comparison.
So I honestly thought you were going to go Steve Hoyam, the guy that.
Look, like if you go on social media right now.
Feliciano, since he left, yeah, that makes me think of Hoyam and breaking his neck. No.
I get it.
Love it.
After that statement he made.
Yeah.
But no, there's a big debate, and I've always said you can't really compare players to other players because they're in different scenarios, they're on different teams. Each week's different from week to week.
Yep.
But Jim Kelly and Josh Allen are two great quarterbacks, and you would take any one of them guys. But that being said, Josh Allen, in my opinion, could have played back in the 90s. He's a tough SOB. And I think he would have done whatever he could to get stuff done, just like Kelly did. So it's like, and Kelly could probably play in today's game. He'd do whatever he could to get stuff done too. So
Kelly played 30 years like Brady.
Yeah.
if Jim Kelly is playing now, and even Thurman Thomas, man, like I said, I watched a playoff game, and it kind of like broke my heart, you know, just watching him in the hits that he took, helmet to helmet, crown of the helmet to the head, and he finally went out in the fourth quarter with a concussion or being dizzy. I'm like, you should have went out in the first quarter after the first 10 times they came in, elbows and head down and everything like that, you know, and that really, you know, the guys, I mean, hopefully they appreciate what transpired in the years past to what they have today, you know. But like I said, it's like they don't practice every day. They can take a day off. Yeah. You think, oh, hey, coach, I'm going to take a day off today. Okay.
Yeah, how many vet days of rest did you get, Mark?
Did they even have those back then?
Yeah, you got a vet day if you were hurt, and lucky it had to be really hurt. But otherwise, no, we didn't get no vet days. Someone say vet day. What? I don't have to take my pet to the
dog sick.
No. And I mean, that was a crazy part. Like, you know, guys, they can take a day off. No. Like, I wish I could take a day off. My knees wouldn't hurt the way they hurt right now. Mm-hmm. I had seen my cousin this weekend, and I got up. He goes, "You need to get your back looked at." I'm like, dude, it's not my back. I'm like, I can barely bend my legs or straighten my legs out after sitting down for a while. I'm like, so my knees hurt. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, they got to warm up, and then I'm good to go. Okay.
There's an awesome massage therapist up at Clifton Springs Hospital up at Clifton Springs that you should come see. He'll probably help you out there.
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
knee replacement is what I need. No, and no,
I don't do that.
Yeah, I'm being serious though. So I had both my toes operated on from the turf toe, and I had a huge calcium deposit on the top of both of them. So the ligament would always rub across it. So it was always constant pain, like someone was trying to cut the ligament. Okay, if I put a pair of shoes on that were too tight, it felt like someone was trying to cut the ligament. Okay. And then not only my knees. So I got them both removed, the calcium deposits removed back in November. And they feel a lot better, don't get me wrong, but I still don't have the cartilage between the joints. So they still hurt, but not as bad, but not the same. So I was joking with the doctor when I was getting ready to get surgery. And I'm like, hey, doc, let me ask you a question. Do my knees and toes qualify me for a handicap pass? Just joking, knowing that he's going to be like, no.
Yeah.
He looks up at me and goes, Mark, you should have had one a long time ago. He goes, I will have the paper waiting for you out of surgery. I'm like, wait, what, are you serious? He goes, oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like he told me I need my knees replaced, but he said it's best to wait till I'm sick in my 60s because, you know, they last longer.
Yeah.
Probably would only need one and less complications than getting one now and then another one later. I was just like, gotta be kidding me. Seriously?
Well, as a secretary, Susie, those papers we have written 10 years ago, we need them now.
I was going to say. He's like, oh, thank God you asked about this. I've been waiting.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Oh, man. Well, hey, guys. This has been a great show, Mark. It is always such a pleasure to have you on, man. We're so lucky to have you as a friend of the show.
Thank you.
And it's been great. And if you want, please, one more time, hit up everybody about the Help One Foundation and the Mafia Nation events, not news events, nation events.
Yeah. Well, my main site is Bill's Mafia Nation.
Okay.
That's our group. Okay. The Nation Events page is just, or it's called Mafia Nation Events. That page, that's where all the videos and stuff are like that. So if anyone wants to join that to see the videos and the pictures of everybody on the scavenger hunt, they can, and I'll accept them. But Mafia Nation Events, or Bill's Mafia Nation, is where we try to do all of our planning for events and stuff like that, and fundraisers and information like that.
Great. Awesome. Jarrod, what do you got for us, man?
Oh, so what do I do with my hands? Always great to talk with Mark Maddox. He's been on the show many times, and the insight is just amazing. If
that's gonna be a clip on Twitter tomorrow, Mark.
Mark, again, thank you for coming. If you know, Fandemonium, he'll be on plenty of times this year. If you want to come back, Mark, but he'll be on plenty of times throughout the season. We'll talk Bills football with him, so stay tuned. We'll let everybody know when that happens. I just want to throw out a little bit of sad news. Obviously, happened again today down in Texas. We don't know all the ins and outs about it, but children were involved, and it's just another scary event that happened here in the States. And our thoughts and prayers are out to all the family members and anybody involved in that. And obviously we're going to get more news on that to come, but just have your hearts open and be thoughtful for everyone down there in Texas. It's, hit kids. So it hits home a little bit more because I got kids in elementary school, and it's just crazy. Don't be afraid to say I love you to people. Hold them close and open up your hearts, because that's what we need right now. And once again, it was fun talking. I love talking football on Tuesdays to get your mind away from a little bit of stuff every once in a while. And I can't wait to see everybody next Tuesday to talk more football. But until then, go Bills.
Hell yeah. Nicely said, man.
There you go.
Mr. Scott Reed.
Jarrod, I was going to bring that up too, so thanks for bringing that up. Mark, again, always thank you for joining the show. For those of you, watch the show and check out Mark's sites. They're actually very, very insightful, and then he has a lot to offer as far as charities and helping people out go. I don't have a lot to say today other than thank you very much. Love. You got to take care of the ones that are close to you. Hug them a little tighter today and tomorrow, and just love. That's all I got to say. Love Trumps.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks to all of our Fandemonium crazy fans for tuning in and being so supportive, and all the love we have from Debbie Emerton and Paul Rossi and Rob Mullen and Alberto Rivera and Mike Voigt and Josh Cook and John Johns, man. You guys make this so worth doing and have provided us with such great opportunities. And just like Debbie hooking us up with one of our favorite guests of all time, Mr. Mark Maddox. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, absolutely. Choose love. And we'll be here every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the K-Gun Report, all the way through that Super Bowl win, baby. So until next week, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
This is a dangerous group.